wanna stand, can I take a photo? 'Cause I'm your number one fan. I'll get you feel good when you play my jam. I'll get you feel good when you play my jam. You can say so dope.
Yo.
What they do, baby?
Thank you for returning to another podcast. It's your boy B2.
It's your boy S&B.
It's your boy B Smitty.
And we are the
Bro
Amigos.
This is your first time listening to us. We are a group of lifelong friends in the space, giving the world our unique opinions and arguably much needed ones as well. But before we get started, I don't know, Smitty, what we drinking?
Oh, damn. Air today.
We're not drinking nothing today, man.
Dang.
We're old.
Yeah.
We dry
washed.
mouth again.
Yeah.
Anyways, what's been
Next
going
time.
on? First of all, before we get started, those of you who are looking at us, you might see we have a guest today. If you hear this voice,
Hello.
that is the voice of the one and only Champagne Salmon.
Hello.
Dang it. That's what I'm talking about. You guys may remember her from our episode 4, I think it was. It's Not Me, It's You. That's her podcast, and they were nice enough to let us join their podcast. So we actually have one of the two on our episode today. So thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You guys showed us a better life to podcasting. I feel like that was like the first time we were like, oh, we could do this comfortably.
Well, I'm
real.
happy. That was like one of our last of our season, so I'm happy to finally be on yours.
Nice.
You know, 20 episodes later.
Oh, shoot, it is. This is episode 22,
Damn.
huh? That's crazy.
That is
Yeah.
crazy.
No, I'm excited.
That
We
was,
had to make sure we had a show right before we get you on, you know?
Yeah.
We didn't
That's
want you
true.
to be, you know.
can't come half stepping.
You know what? I was having major FOMO listening. I've been listening to you guys every week, and I'm
Oh,
so proud.
Hey,
I'm
thank
so
you.
proud of you guys, but I'm like, okay, it's my turn. Put me in, coach. I'm ready. So
I know. You were actually our first kind of on-set podcast episode,
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think, right? That's the
Yeah,
first time we got out the garage.
Yeah.
I think that's what you were talking about. Like, we were like, oh, this is what it's like not to be in the heat.
made it out the garage.
Like, maybe we should consider this.
That's funny.
No, but yeah, thanks for coming on the show.
We really
Of
appreciate it.
course. You know, it's funny. I mentioned to Bae that I was going to be on the show today, and he's like, "Oh, are you guys recording in the garage?" I'm like, "No,
Yeah,
they
We
made it
moved
out."
up. Yeah.
we made it out. I don't know. We still got one foot in. We may end up
Once
going back.
winter
Yeah.
comes back,
I
when
know.
winter comes around, we'll be good. Fall, winter.
Yeah,
It'll
summertime,
be
we got to get out of
cold.
there.
I know it's better.
What?
She said it'll be cold.
Yeah.
Bundled up in the garage.
It's easier to get warm than it is to get
For sure.
cool.
Fair enough.
For sure.
That's
I
why
think it would be hella funny to just see us with our gloves, hats, like winter coats on. What up, y'all? It's another podcast.
32 degrees outside.
Lisa kicked us out of the house. So.
she got tired of leaving. Nah, but I mean, luckily we're in California. It's never gonna get that
Yeah,
cold.
that's true.
That cold. So,
True.
I mean, it does get cold here.
Yeah, it does. It'll be, yeah,
but it don't get that
Let's not,
cold.
let's
Like,
not
we
get it
are
twisted.
It gets like 32 degrees. That's cold.
It does get cold.
Okay, but compared
to the rest of America,
Yeah.
not
But even when we
Yeah.
lived in Hampton, it got to like 40, 50 degrees and it was like barbecue weather.
I don't really think we never turn on our heater in Hampton. Remember, we used to always
Nah, it's just on Snowflake.
What?
That's the one time.
we be in the house with jackets just chilling.
Yeah.
Why?
It feels so good. I
it's
like it.
it's the best when it's like when it's a little bit cold and then you layer up. Like
Yeah.
that's the perfect temperature.
I think you sleep the best too when you're like that. When you
Yeah.
have fresh air coming in and you just like, oh yeah.
Yeah, people coming in like, it's cold. The floors are cold. We're like, nah, it feels
it's
good.
perfect.
Like, we in there with sweaters, beanies. We can literally get in our own place like we're outside.
I want to come into a house and feel like I'm in like a little incubator. You know.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
could just imagine babies being so nice and warm and toasty.
But it's weird because
Like, I don't want to be hot. I don't want hot
haven't.
breath.
I mean, yeah, you. But the thing is, okay, maybe it's just me, but it's hard to find that perfect degree where it's warm, but you don't start to feel too warm.
Yeah, I
Like
don't
you
wanna
need
be
it to start
clammy.
getting cold. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it just seems like heat does that. Like it'd be like, okay, it feels good for a second, and then you're like, okay, let's turn it down, and then you up and down and up and down and up and
Yeah.
down and up and down.
True.
That's weird. I don't know. If anybody knows the degrees out there, the perfect temperature, let me know.
Me too.
Because I freaking don't know.
yeah.
But so I guess what's been going on with you, B2? What's going on this week? Anybody got something to share?
Well, I just had like an experience of just feeling super washed yesterday because got off work and then I was supposed to meet my homegirl and we were working on this project, and then after that, like it was still like like 9 o'clock ish, and I could have still did something because I got invited to some place, but I really just like put on my pajamas and then snuggled up in my bed and like watched a movie. And it was like 9:30, and I just looked at the time and I was like, damn, like this is my life. Like this is
the weekend.
me.
The weekend turn up.
Like I'm completely content with just being in my bed watching a movie and not doing anything.
Right.
Facts.
You're
So-
definitely washed.
Getting old.
That was the moment I realized, because usually like on a Friday night I'll get like the urge to like drink or go do something, but then like yesterday I was just like nah cuz.
Right.
Sit down cuz.
Have y'all ever got to the point where you weigh out your night before you even
Oh, I've done that. I started doing that a
like
long
you
time ago. Yeah.
man, like you just
I
sit
didn't
there
know
and go, okay.
I didn't know all particulars, like so I can really like who's gonna be there, what we doing, what
Yeah.
time. So then I could be like, all right,
Yeah, you literally imagine your entire
Yes.
night and then you decide,
is it worth it?
is it worth
Yeah.
going out?
Nah.
Like, okay, if I go here, who's gonna be there? If I go there, what are we gonna be drinking? If I'm drinking, if I'm doing this and I'll go here, how much?
Yeah.
And then you're like, nah, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm just lay down.
So B used to do that, like when he lived with Cameron and Camo up in Costa Mesa or whatever.
Yeah.
I would always come out there because it would be like once in like a blue moon. I would come
Yeah.
out there and be like, oh B, let's kick it, whatever. Because me and Cam already had plans, and then B would be like, okay, what y'all doing? Where y'all going? And then as soon like he wouldn't say yes or no, he would come,
Right.
but then like as soon as we started making plans to leave, he'd be like, all right, and then just go to his room.
You gotta
Like,
calculate.
damn.
You gotta calculate it. You gotta
That's who's coming.
Yeah. You gotta see what the possible outcomes may be. Then you gotta weigh
Right,
it out.
exactly. When the possible outcomes all equal 0, you're like,
yeah.
what's the point?
Yeah.
Not worth
Just-
it.
Right?
I gotta wake up early tomorrow. I gotta work out tomorrow.
Do you
That's
do you
true.
do
There's
that?
things different now. Things are so different. Friday nights, honestly, it's like if you're saying let's do something, it's like okay,
Yeah.
it better be before I get home from work.
Yeah.
Because if I hit home, I don't even want to go to the store. I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I took a shower and I'm at home, it's a wrap.
Oh yeah,
That's
It is
not-
a
Yeah.
wrap.
If you take a shower, it's like, bro.
It is, if I wash my face, like I'm not doing it again.
Yeah.
You want me to put makeup on? No, for what?
Yeah, I guess for women it's way different. Like
You
it's
gotta
like,
do
yeah.
hair and makeup, and it's like, and listen, I don't even wear makeup or do my hair for work, okay? Like my hair is always up in a bun. I have no makeup on, so to come home, take a shower, and then okay, you gotta guarantee I'm gonna have a good time,
Right,
Or I'm
right.
gonna get some good food or something
Right.
out of this
Yeah,
night.
it has to be exceptional.
What's one thing someone can say that'll make you be like, all right, I'm hopping out, I'm coming.
I was just
I'm coming,
thinking that.
you
I
know?
was just thinking that.
Food
what's
for,
that
food
thing?
for me?
I think
if
food.
someone's
I
cooking
think
something good, yeah.
At this point,
Word.
it's food because
Yeah.
I don't drink like that anymore.
That's true.
And
That's true.
I like to wake up because we only have 2 days off. You know, it's Saturday and Sunday. It's like you got to fit in you time, chores, cleaning, like all that, the
Y'all
running around.
sound old.
I know, and that's the saddest thing. But I'll tell you this: Thursday night, that's when I'm feeling young. That's when I'm like, okay, what
that's
are we
true.
doing?
On a Thursday?
Yeah, that is true.
Thursday,
Yeah, I'm with
Thursday
you.
still holds weight.
Wait, you don't have
for
work
me.
on Friday then?
No,
Is
I
that what you're
have I work on Friday. I'll drag because guess what? When I get home on Friday night, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah,
I'm-
I can't go to work hungover. That's just it's the worst feeling ever.
saying? That doesn't
Yeah.
seem.
And try to use my brain.
Smart.
Like nah, I'll catch attitudes.
Have
with
you ever gone to
everybody.
work hungover?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because where I work,
drunk.
they do parties, they hold stuff, and like
Oh,
they
yeah,
give
yeah.
us free alcohol. So like the first year I worked there, I got drunk at a party, then came back to work the next day, and I was just angry at everybody, like not talking to nobody, had my headphones in, like don't speak to me.
Right.
It was problems.
At least if it's company party, everyone's kind of on the same page.
Yeah, but I also feel like with black people, like you kind of have to watch. You can't teeter the line as much as other people when
Yeah.
you go to company parties because
Right.
it's like, yeah,
Not everyone's your friend.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
And watch
it's
yourself.
a test. It's like
It is.
okay,
I feel like it is a test.
a
Like people
test,
do be
like-
looking at you like, oh okay,
all the free alcohol.
I see how he does it.
What are you gonna look like tomorrow?
Yeah.
So, anyway, Sam,
Yes.
you just recently came back from somewhere interesting.
I did. Where did I?
You've been popping on the Grizzam.
Yeah, you know this.
Where'd you go?
Recently, I went on a huge family vacation with my family, and it was like we
Euro
were in
tour,
Europe.
right?
Yeah, it was a Europe
Oh,
tour.
Europe,
We
mhm.
did a cruise. Started in Rome, ended in Barcelona, and then everywhere in between. So it was like Rome, Capri and the Amalfi Coast, Florence, Pisa.
Dang.
We did the south of France, so Monte Carlo and Monaco,
Damn.
Nice and Provence.
Dang.
And
You was out there.
We were out there,
was
and
doing
then Palma de Mallorca.
Have you
and
been?
Barcelona.
Have you been on a cruise in America before?
No, this was my first cruise.
Oh, okay. So I was gonna say I heard like
did
European
pretty right.
cruises are totally different, like the boats.
Yeah, you guys know my sister is
Yeah.
fancy,
Yeah.
and
Sis.
yeah, shout out. You guys came on and she had us with the caviar and
Yeah.
champagne.
She's
so,
pretty fancy.
so this time it was my first cruise. Everyone else in my family, it was not theirs, but they're like, "This is the creme de la creme." And I was like, "It better be because I paid for this trip. I need it to be everything and more."
Right. Did it meet your expectations?
Yeah, it was good. Like, here's the thing. From what I know about cruises, the rooms are tiny.
Yeah.
You feel claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Our room was it was a really decent size.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, well, this is what I need all the time. I don't want to start on this level and then when
Downgrade.
I want to, yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do Carnival. Like, I don't know. I
So
always
you had,
wanted to do.
You had a window and everything in your room?
We had a balcony.
Balcony, yeah.
We had
Oh,
a,
yeah.
we had a
Yeah,
veranda,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
so it completely came down. And we had a balcony and we'd sit and chill and stuff.
Yeah, that's not normal.
That's dope.
That's
Yeah.
that's
I,
a super
um,
upgrade.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
I kind of asked you that because I saw something that said that black millennials right now are traveling. I don't want to say the most, but to that effect. They're like one of the bigger traveling groups right now are young black millennials.
Because we finally can.
I can believe
You think
it.
that's what it is? Like what has changed, or how's the climate changed that's kind of the statistic now? Like we're out here moving. And I know on my timeline, like a lot of our Hamptonian friends and other friends, I see a lot of people are traveling. Everybody's doing Bali.
Well, I think this is we're the first generation that's able to, just in economical sense and just like not being so worldly, like fear mongering and feel like, oh shoot, don't leave
Is
here.
it
Right.
that we're making more or things are costing less?
No, I think
we're making more.
Maybe it's
mean, both, yeah.
Maybe it's a
Yeah.
combination of both.
It's both. It's social media. Like you see people going, it's like, oh, well, let me look. Oh, I could do that too. And then honestly, I'm not in a position yet to buy a house. So it's kind of like, okay, I've got money. Let's just do it. Like, F it.
Yeah.
Let's just go. Let's go see the world. I'm not going to buy a house anytime soon.
Well, maybe
So
that's it.
let me go.
Maybe that's part of it is like our generation values traveling more than the typical get a home, build a family, and saving up and doing all that.
It's easier
You know
to
what I mean?
travel.
Yeah, I was gonna say like my parents, when they got out of college, they were striving to move out of the hood and get to a place where they could raise a family and have a home and all this stuff. I think that was their value. Whereas us, like a lot of us aren't. Well, I shouldn't say a lot, but like I feel like there is a trend of like wanting to see the world or travel or do whatever it is before you settle down and get married or have a family. So
I think it's the exposure since we were exposed to it. Kind of our generation exposed to it on the internet, even early on. Just general.
Yeah.
Now we're like, oh, I want to go see those places. I want to go do this. I want to go do that. And you have actual physical videos and everything you can watch now. But also, it's like he said, it's kind of like the other thing to it is like our parents' generation was just worried about like the foundation of just life.
right, yeah.
And so that allowed us the luxury and the comfortability to not even have to worry about that. So now we're able like, let's go travel.
Let's go live it.
Right.
Yeah, so you don't have to. I mean, although we're, our generation got the college debt and all that bullshit and housing.
Right.
But besides that, we do have the luxury of, not worrying about the basic stuff they used to worry about.
Damn.
So
So what do you think Dax is gonna have? Like, since we're taking this step of like, hey, I want to see the world. Like, he's obviously gonna want to do that, but like, I think
Right.
there's gonna be like even bigger thing that we're not even striving for right now. That
They're gonna
his
be teleporting
generation.
places.
Yeah.
They're gonna have instant travel.
Right.
Well, if you think, okay, well, it's the next thing that's up from just traveling and seeing the world is like what rich people do now. They're like
Well,
global citizens. So you never really,
here's
you never
yeah.
really like, oh, I'm just American. Like you're just wherever you want to be,
Yeah.
how you want to be, or wherever industry you follow. You can just be in Russia this week or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's never.
Well, that's kind of what's a little alarming to me, and I don't know if this has much basis, but it seems like the world is, I don't know, maybe this is me being inexperienced, but I feel like the direction of the world is going is like losing. Some places are losing like culture. We're
sure,
all blending. I mean, saying so like, I want to travel to this place to experience this culture, but this culture is, let's just say hypothetically, it's kind of just like it is in America, or it's just like it is over here. And now, I don't know. It just seems like everything is kind of blending, like you said, like global.
singularity.
Yeah, and that's So maybe they'll be dealing with that a little bit more. Everybody's going to be so influenced, like with the information age and you know, everybody kind of being able to see each other. We're communicating with each other. A lot of the world is being basically affecting each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we're doing a lot of the same stuff. So I don't know. It's kind of, not to say that you go somewhere and everything's gonna be the same right now, but
Right.
No, but a lot of places do look alike. Like they're starting like since like most of these real estate apartment companies are like multinational companies. Like you'll see the same apartments in Panama that you'll see in Miami. It looks the same exact
Right.
same KBRE company or whoever's
Right.
constructing it. So like you said, there is like the next people that are building on top of like the old cultures of those places.
Yeah.
It's all the same.
yeah.
It's
So the
everywhere.
architecture is
Yeah.
a big deal when you travel.
Yes,
So
yeah.
if you, like you said, if you have that multi, you know, international company, you can be like, oh, that's the same. I went to China and they got the same exact thing. Oh, I went here and they got the same. You know, it's like,
That kinda
That's gonna be
sucks.
whack. Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. It's
sucks.
It's gonna be so whack.
Because
yeah.
I want to travel to see different than what
Right.
I'm used to.
Yeah.
Right.
And I made it a point, like, before we went on the cruise itself, we spent about 3 days in Rome and then 3 days in Barcelona. That's where we, you know, was the ports, whatever. But I made it a point. It was like, okay, we're going to do an Airbnb. And I want to feel like I'm in Italy. I want to feel
experience
like
it.
I'm in Rome. I don't want to get, like, just a basic apartment flat, you know, that
Right.
just looks like home. I want it to look. So that was like a major key element. The Barcelona one, my sister was in charge. It was nice. It was cool. Didn't feel Spanish, but whatever. but it's true. It's just kind of like, yeah, we like it makes it more special to get out there now before it's a touristy spot. I went to Tulum not too long ago, and back in May, and they're saying like, yeah, you know, it's becoming more tourist attractions. Like you can buy property, apartments, and everything, and rent it out and everything, and it's really dope. But it's like so like precious that you just don't want everyone to know about it. But you come back and, you know, social media, it's like, oh, you gotta go to Tulum. It's so great, and da 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 da. So
I think just like hearing you talk about it too, it's like it's gonna do like a weird full circle of it where like before, like our parents' generations were very hotel-ish. Let's stay on a resort. Let's kind of
Yeah.
just stay with like this cultivated experience that they have for us. And then now it's like our generation is looking for those real experiences. But now they're kind of getting like built on top of. I think it's gonna get to a point where Dax is like they almost have like when you go to these places, they almost have like I don't know how to say
It's like a fake
yeah, like a fake, but
fake
just so you
culture.
can- yeah, just so you can-
Sounds like a museum.
Yeah, and it's, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna go all like when Dax comes around, it's gonna be
Yeah.
like that type of like, oh look at these people, look how they lived
Yeah.
like early in the days, whatever. But it's not actually
Not authentic.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Yeah.
Damn, that reminds me of your hood tour idea.
you know what? That is a great idea, and I feel like that should happen because it'll come
real.
back to where, you know, everyone's going outside of the country. It's like, no, bring it back now.
Can you explain it real quick for
Right.
those who
Yeah.
haven't heard it?
Well,
Watts Land.
the quick
Wattsland.
Wattsland, yes.
The summary and the short version of Wattsland was that all the people in the hood get together, and because of a lot of kids these days being raised on rap music, they kind of idolize these places, right? And I know they want to go there, but obviously they're probably too scared to go there. So we created a tour or an experience, not just a tour, but like a full weekend experience. Yeah, where these kids can come, they fly out, they join their gang, okay, and they get like an experience. You know what I mean? They get these, you know, maybe some fake tattoos, they get gangbanger names, whatever, and they can live out the rap lyrics, you know, that they fantasize about, and you stimulate the economy that way. You know,
Heck yeah.
you turn every hood dude into a consultant at that point. And he's a coach.
A hood
You know? And at the
consultant.
end of
That's
this tour or this thing, you know, it ends with maybe like a, I don't know, maybe like a gang war or something. I don't know.
Oh my
But see,
god.
okay, but when we were saying this, the problem was then you're appropriating, you know,
Yeah.
a stereotype
Your own
of the culture,
culture,
your own
yeah.
culture, and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And I get that, but the whole caveat to that was this could only happen if the money that's being made from this place is funneling back into the community to better it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you're just taking, you know, everybody wants to milk the gold.
I mean, it's a part of American culture, and
Right.
like I don't know if you guys did the history tour in 8th grade. Wait, time out real quick. I just side note.
What?
I'm a lifelong friend of the Bramigos.
Yeah.
Oh,
we,
yeah,
we
we
didn't say
probably
that.
should- no,
Yeah. This is a special
Yeah, we
episode.
know. Oh, we
'cause
should say that.
I'm a lifelong friend too. I'm just not a bruh. I'm a girl.
She's a bra.
Brah.
Bruh. I'm a bruh.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, back to because we went to the same
Since-
junior
yeah,
high
we did it.
area.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, in high school.
anyways, for the history trip, you know, they did a reenactment of the Civil War. There was Colonial Day at school, Gold Rush
that's true.
Day. So why not Hood Day and you know reenactments of
It's so delicate though. Like you have to do it
It
the right
is.
way.
Yeah.
It is, but if it's brought to you by black people, then it shouldn't be a problem, you know?
Because some people would be like, well, why is that the part of history for black people that you want to be represented?
Right.
Because we've already been on a slave tour in the savannah, you know, on a plantation. I'm sorry, not a slave tour, but a plantation tour, and they don't even really cover that. They're like, oh, and the workers lived here. It's
You know-
like,
That's
they
very
weren't
true.
workers,
No,
they're
real- okay.
slaves, you know.
Our idea was kind of a joke, but you bring up a good point. It would be dope.
I really like this.
I know, but okay, but it really would be dope to go through a Black Wall Street tour.
Us
Yeah.
too.
You
You know what I'm saying? Like a Tulsa, Oklahoma
Tulsa, yeah.
tour, or any of these areas where blacks were prominently business people or
Right.
owned, all that stuff. Like to have that experience, they'll take you through the
Yeah.
slave experience, they'll take you through all that stuff. But what about the areas where we were really thriving at
Thriving,
times?
yeah, that too.
That's made me think too, like how much of their experience they immerse you in, like coming up in school. Like I never thought about like how she's like they take you to the ship or whatever. I forgot what those one of those.
Queen Mary or something.
No, I forgot which day trip it was, but you stay overnight actually. But anyway, also her history tour. You really like they want to immerse you and feel
Yeah.
like this is how white people were back in the day.
Yeah.
But you get no idea or glimpse
Yeah.
or even nothing about like this is how African Americans were back in the day. Or
nothing
anything.
about
Maybe
the
we should do it.
Tuskegee Airmen and you
Right.
know what black people were actually doing.
Going
Like
through,
they
yeah.
want to hype up what the white man was doing, which is fine. It's a part of American culture, but we are a part of it too.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
maybe
it's
before we
a little
speak,
deep,
do we
but
know that there aren't those out there?
there are? But that's
not
I don't
wide,
feel like
like,
the,
yeah.
the schools aren't.
Oh,
going
like you mean
there.
like it's a
public-
part of the
yeah.
school?
It's
Oh,
like
I
a
got you, I got you.
I feel like
curriculum.
it's like an extra, an
Yeah.
extra outside curriculum. Like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go
Yeah,
to
yeah,
my black school today after class.
That would be dope though, to get a full immersed experience of like what it was like back there and be segregated but successful.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Well,
There
yeah,
are some women out there doing some big
Yeah.
things.
I think segregation worked a little bit.
Well, some
I was
people
gonna
would
say,
argue that.
I-
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
Some people
know
would
what?
argue that segregation was the best thing to happen to black people, and the
Yeah.
desegregation was the
worst.
worst thing to happen.
Yeah.
High
Because
key,
we literally at that point were a community, and unfortunately, right now we don't really have that. I feel like we're trying to make a comeback. We're trying to, but it definitely hasn't been as strong.
Well, because once you mix it up, now we have to stack our chips against your chips in your
Your,
game.
your chips are bigger.
Yeah, we're playing in your
Yeah,
now
that's
we're playing at your table. Before we had our own table where we decided how much your chip was worth, and we could stack our stuff up together.
Yeah.
And now we're trying to mix it all together, and it's not.
Yeah, but
gonna
let's
work.
also not make a mistake and be like we did that on our own merit. Anytime we had success, anytime we had whole communities thriving, they were basically bombed, fired on. They were straight up eradicated.
exactly.
And I'm not sure if that's what people. I don't know how many people realize that, for one, and two, I don't know if the people that do realize that are afraid to keep doing it because of that.
What do you mean? Afraid to do it?
Afraid to basically create a whole another community
Oh,
again because in
gotcha.
fear that that's basically going to happen again.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it. I don't. I would hope that that's not the case,
right.
but
Shoot. Well,
You
let's
know what I mean?
let's do it and see. I ain't scared. No, I'm kidding.
I mean nowadays we have the biggest opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, we're getting more into real estate, right? Making a lot more money individually. I guess as a community per se. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a
Yeah.
lot more black millionaires. A lot of there are some
Atlanta is probably like the
The best.
Oh,
most.
that's
example.
that's the
Yeah.
biggest one. Right
Yeah, the
there.
biggest.
like the Mecca
of it right
Yeah.
now. Yeah, for sure.
for sure.
Yeah,
So
they're making it happen.
We're popping. We're thriving.
Yeah, I think everyone, every African American should go to the whatever it's the African American.
You talking about in DC?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, I
the African American Museum.
Yeah, that'll make you
Really
feel
wanna do
totally
that.
different
Oh,
about
my goodness.
everything. There's so
Yeah.
much like you need. I only went through one day, but you need like that's like a
I think you need two
At
or three.
least.
three
Add
at
days.
that
least.
to the history tour.
Yeah.
and because there's so much you don't know about, and there's so much, and you just feel it when you're in there too.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh shit, this is 10 times worse than you then they portray it to you, and like you have no idea like how bad things were and just how vicious and just like how people made it out of that.
They even talk about like how racism wasn't even a thing up until like the 1500s or whatever. Like before that, like your skin color really didn't matter. It was more like social status or class or whatever, right? And then they flipped it. I forget why they did that or whatever, but it was a specific reason. Well, it was just to get the slave trade going.
But I think that thing is that make you feel totally different. Like it's so heavy when you walk through there and stuff. It's just a different understanding.
Yeah, more than just being sad when you do it though. It's amazing how much knowledge gives you power.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like just to know your history, true history, and just to know how things move. I think it can kind of help you launch yourself in the future at least.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
It's crazy how, if you think down about yourself and you don't value yourself, that's going to play a large part in what you do with your life.
Yeah.
Right? And then if you know certain things about yourself or you know what you're capable of and things like that, even in terms of just like who your ancestors were, who your grandfathers were and stuff like that, that could be a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, it's very empowering. Like
For sure.
if you think about it. Most people don't really can't really trace back their family that far. I'm kind of one of those people. Like I have a really big family, and so through having so many family members, we know certain things, but I still don't know
Full story.
Yeah, I 100% don't know my full story. Like there's a lot of people who are like, they know who their great grandfather is, they know who their great great grandmother is, and what they did and what they gave to their family, and da 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 da. Like there's this whole story and history.
Yeah.
And they live through that. Some good, some bad. But I'm not sure if people understand what it's like to not know that.
And that it was actually systematic. Like they would like when they would bring slaves over, like they separate the mom and the father and all that, cut the grandmother's tongues off so they can't like tell the stories and pass down the traditions that are not written and all that
Isn't
type
it
of stuff.
sick?
That's what I'm
like
saying.
when you really look at the
Yeah.
purposeful nature of it,
Yeah.
it's not like, oh, this just happened
By
because,
accident.
it's war. It happened by accident. That's just a result of.
And that was
You know.
the fear of having black people have knowledge and going forward, which
Yeah. But these are conquering tactics. Like this didn't just happen to black people. These are things that conquerors do to people. When they conquer people, you don't just conquer them physically, you conquer them mentally. It's systematic. And I think that is the craziest thing. Like when you read that kind of stuff, you go, this was done on purpose.
Yeah.
And we're
Full
still
intent.
dealing with the effects of it
to this
hundreds,
day.
thousands of years
Different
later.
ways, yeah.
In
different
total different
forms,
ways.
yeah.
Like when you see, like we talk about colorism, well, light skin and black skin, like you just think it's something that kind of just we did and we manifested. Like no, that was purposeful.
Yeah.
Someone instigated that. That the issue between young men and older men and stuff. Someone instigated that. That was put in for a particular reason. Breaking up the family, all this stuff is just like there's some real evil in this world.
It
Man.
really is.
Some real sick evil in
But
this world.
the hard part I think that African Americans deal with is finding a way to, I guess, like translate that like lost history or lost like whatever to other people, because a lot of people don't. I was watching the Netflix documentary White Privilege with Chelsea Handler or whatever. Yeah, it was really weak or whatever.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Was that bad?
But it was like, well, it was just like, it was a great example of just like white people just don't get it, bro. Like they just don't
Completely
fucking
over
get
their
it.
head.
Wasn't she trying to do something nice?
No, but that's the thing. Like she was proving her white privilege within the movie of her doing of what she, like it was
Yeah.
just like a,
somebody even said it in the documentary. She was like you doing this is like what else are you gonna do for, like what is the purpose of this? I guess
Netflix just handed you a bag, and now
Yeah.
you're trying to act like, oh, what is my white privilege? How can I change this and
Yeah.
this and that? But it's just more of just like, I don't know, just
Stating the obvious.
it was really just
Yeah.
a white person trying to navigate like how to better communicate with like African Americans or whatever. But it was just.
But do you think it was her way of trying to reach other white people to spark?
No, it was.
Like, to
That-
spark
that was the
something?
intent, for
Like,
sure.
Maybe it was
yeah,
not for us.
for
Maybe it
us?
wasn't for us.
I don't think it was.
I don't think it is.
But it was just like, because her whole thesis was like, this white privilege thing isn't like a black issue, it's a white issue, and white people need to have these discussions to like make their fellow Americans more at home or whatever.
But white people like how it's set up already.
Well, they
so
do.
That's why they don't.
I mean,
think
that's
it's an
one.
issue.
That's one issue, and then another issue, like you just, like we understand it because we are African American, but like we can't translate that hurt onto other people for them to understand.
Right,
And I think
right.
that's like the
Right.
biggest thing. Like when she was having dialogue with other white women, they just didn't get it. They just couldn't get it. No matter what example that she would throw at them, they just didn't understand why we act the way that we act, or why we're hurt, or like, oh, that was so long ago. Like why that offends us. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they just didn't understand.
Do you feel like we need to?
Need to what?
Like, do you feel like that's a crusade worth having? Like, us trying to make everyone understand the struggle and be sympathetic to it and all that stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand how it could help,
Right.
but that can't be the end game. Like,
Right,
why do we feel the need to have to do that? Like you kind of just said, there are some people who feel like segregation was the best thing to happen. Not saying that we should segregate again, but in the way that, like, all right, well, why can't we try to figure it out as a community together, how to band together, get the money together, blah, 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 you know, that whole thing. And do we need part of that agenda to be, and we need everyone to accept us?
I don't think it's
know what I mean?
I don't think it's we need people to accept us. I just think there needs to be a level of empathy and understanding
Just
that goes
respect,
around. Yeah.
Like, just respect that there was a struggle. If you don't understand it, okay. Respect it, that it's true, that it's real, that it still affects to this day, and let's move forward. That's it.
Like if you're not for us, just don't be against us, I guess.
And I think also we don't realize how recent like actual slavery was. So I think we're just still in that phase of like, just like if, for instance, if you come out of a bad relationship or something, you still feel like you need to reconcile or be with that person. So you still feel like, oh, whatever that person is, that's kind of like how I see it right now. But then the next stage, you know, a little bit more time, give it more time. Now we get to the stage you're talking about, like, do we even need them? Like, what are we doing? Let's stand on our own. So I think that's where our generation and the following generation will be of what your ideas was. But like our parents' generation were only one generation out from actual slaves that were.
People really think slavery
So it's
was like this ancient thing.
we're only 50. You're only, you know,
We're maybe 2.5 generations out.
maybe close.
Like,
There's people,
yeah.
There was still, I think there's still a slave alive, or she may have recently died. But yeah, just to say within our lifetime,
it's not even that far.
Yes. So we think, even in my mind, I always think like, damn, it was a long time ago. But no.
And some would argue it never went away.
It
just changed
hasn't.
forms.
It hasn't. You guys, did you see the 13th documentary?
Oh, the Ava DuVernay? Yeah.
It's
Oh, that's a good one.
What is
I
it?
like
The
that.
13th.
13th on Netflix.
Is that the one
About
with all
jails?
I haven't watched it. But I saw
that's
it.
a-
Watch
You gotta
that
watch
because
That's a good one.
Yeah, you
Yes.
have to watch that.
13th represents the 13th Amendment and the abolishment of slavery, but really how it just transferred over into the jail system and the prison system, and how no, we can't have slaves, but we're going to make it impossible for you to be a standing citizen as a black man, a black person, period, in America. And that's the part where it's like, no, slavery still is happening. Like, no, we're not in chains, but we're behind bars. It's a different metal. Same, you know, different form, same
It's
metal.
just active. Like it's super active. Like they're even currently to this day, like they shut down like something like I think it's 1,200 polling places in the South. So now like these people have to go 2 hours to vote from, you know, a rural area, or it's a grandma trying to vote that they like.
I've seen that.
Yeah,
Or-
making it impossible.
And then
to
they had
go
like
vote.
I think it was last year or 2 years ago. 2 years ago there was like someone organized a bus to take people away,
I saw that.
and they put in legislation where they said you can't like ride together to go to these polling places.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing, like this
It's active.
that stuff is so active. Like people don't realize like, oh, why don't people vote? Like people are trying to vote. They're making it the hardest possible. Like, oh, you need 2 IDs, you need this, you need that, you need a utility bill. All of a sudden, like, come on, dog. Like everyone should automatically be registered to vote. Like, but that's the whole point. They're trying to make it even harder.
Yeah.
But that's just like one little thing. Like that's like part one of
Part
the
of the big
participation.
puzzle.
Yeah, like
Right.
of everything. Like
That's
that goes
the-
in line with like redlining and all that stuff. And
Oh
like,
man,
so
all that
it's-
stuff. Can you imagine like that? That's why I say like information is so powerful, because if you can imagine, most people don't know this stuff. They kind of do. They don't really know. But if you know the tactics that are being played against you, you can at least try to formulate a plan. And not only that, even if you don't necessarily have a plan, you can tell the next generation, or you can tell your kids or whoever what's going on. And I feel like if you were to do that, you would probably inspire these kids to do one of the most rebellious things that they could do, which is get their education,
learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is learn, which is
Right.
go to school, which is do everything the polar opposite of what everybody kind of thinks is cool and whatever right now. That literally is probably the scariest thought for some people. A bunch of kids from, let's say, an underprivileged
Education.
area or whatever, all going to school, not missing. You know what I'm saying? Like really getting their education, getting smart, understanding stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you know how dangerous that is to have a whole bunch of kids who are what people call woke now?
Right.
I mean, I
Like
think
for
that's-
real though. Like for real.
I mean, I think that
real
is
life.
kind of happening now because kids are more interested in politics than I've ever heard
sure,
of it before
yes.
because
Right.
of school shootings and how the government's not really doing anything. And these kids have to go to school with potential, cases like
for
these.
sure.
So, like, I think the kids are starting to be like, oh, damn, like, I actually have a voice. I can actually say something about this and do something about it.
Kids are ready.
Yeah. So they definitely seem, the younger generation seems more ready than our generation. I think.
Yeah.
The thing that sucks though when you think about it is like most, like even conservatives of today, they were maybe liberal or less conservative when they're younger. But then there's like, once you go through the system and everything, like even as a white male, you're like, fuck, I'm 30 or whatever you're like, once you get 30, 35, 40, they're like, I kind of want to keep my money. I kind of want to do this. So you kind of just end up playing along with the system because it's so hard to go against the system. Even like once you're 30, you're like, all right, I'm exhausted of fighting. Like, let me just get my
Right.
crib. Let me
Right.
sit down.
That's what I live.
Like, yeah.
It's hard.
Like
I give up.
everyone leave me alone. Like, cause you just been like fighting through the whole system. So I think it's so
They count on that.
like, I don't see it. I don't know how you change it because it's human nature is going to be human nature eventually. It's like we all think we're going to be the best, most
I know.
giving billionaires if you had $1 billion. But you
know,
still
that-
want your
that's the thing. That's the thing that I know we've talked about before too. I'm like, we talk about how wealth disparities are messed up and janky, but if I was the billionaire,
Right, yeah.
I would use my money y'all asking for.
No, yeah.
I can't sit here and act like I'm gonna be like, yeah, that's cool. I'll just give up half of it.
And not only that, I'm gonna make sure all my friends are in the same type of places I'm in. So
Right.
like any type of opportunities and the things we
Right.
see them and all that manipulation, yeah, I'll probably be doing some type of shit. Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean?
Yeah, so it's hard.
It's
It's hard
human
for that.
nature of like, you know what I mean? Like there has to
Keep
be.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's I ain't got the answer, Sway.
That's
There's a
why
lot
we-
of questions out
Oh,
there.
no.
That's why things won't get better until our tech overlords take
my
place.
God.
When the AI comes and just wipes it
Dog,
out.
real talk, I really do think there are going to be people who subscribe to just serving artificial intelligence.
for sure.
Well, they're already
Oh,
doing it.
oh,
Excuse
yeah,
me.
yeah,
They're
yes.
already doing
Yes,
it in
yes,
like
yes.
I want to say China or Japan.
Mm-hmm.
There is like a deity that is AI that people basically worship. Yeah, I gotta show it to you guys. It's crazy. I think it's still pretty small. Don't get me wrong.
No, but it's definitely- I
it's
believe that, yeah,
happening. But I mean, think about it. It makes sense in my head why that would happen because artificial intelligence is going to be able to calculate things at a quantum speed, and they're going to probably solve a lot of problems. And people are going to be like, "That's what we all want our leaders to do: solve issues, right? Solve problems." So if people are just like, "This AI has solved hunger. It solved this. It solved cropping. It solved this," I'm just gonna.
Fam, I don't know if I said this on the podcast or not, but I remember telling you guys, I was listening to this podcast and they were talking about religion and they were like looking at it from a science perspective. And they were talking about like religion, it came into to be what it is because it was a way to, what am I trying to say? It was a way to stop
control?
people. Yeah,
Like
not just control, but like make people act right. I guess like in the olden
I know
days,
some.
you had this like they created like there was a god who was like revengeful and mean and like there's wars and all this stuff, and that was a way to like or you go to hell if you steal or whatever.
Right.
So that was a way to keep people from
Doing those
doing
things.
bad things. And then like now we're in a better place in time, and now we have Jesus who is nice and your friend and who's whatever because we don't
How it
need that
changes,
evil. We don't
yeah.
need that type of God
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
So now with you saying like there's an AI God, it's just like okay because the world is moving in this technology
Right.
era, and they're going to be able to solve these issues that maybe like certain religions can't.
Have you guys ever seen the show Expanse on Amazon? I don't know if I talked about this before.
It's that technology one,
Yes.
right?
That's a good
I
show. You
think
guys
I've
gotta
only
watch
seen
it.
an episode.
But they create, we won't spoil it, but they create an AI or someone creates an AI and it gets out into the space or outer space and it doesn't care about humans. It just cares about advancement. So it doesn't care if you're here, but if you pose a threat, it'll get rid of you. And if you don't, it's still do its thing regardless. Like,
Right.
but it doesn't even care you're even
Yeah.
here. Like it's just,
Why would it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
You're a non-factor.
like, so when you think about it too, like when that happens, which is pretty soon, or like probably like when Dax is our age, it's they're gonna be controlling everything, and I don't know if it's.
I be telling people that all the time, and people just look at me like I'm being a sci-fi nerd.
But then you gotta think about like,
and I'm like, okay,
things are never
watch.
things have never really been good when it's just up to human nature and just humans alone. Like when it comes down to one person or just a body of people controlling everyone else below. I don't think there's ever been.
Well, here's the thing: we focus on the doomsday aspect of artificial intelligence and all that stuff, but there's gonna come a lot of dope stuff. I think with it, that's gonna be amazing. But you got to take the good with the bad. I personally think that artificial intelligence will be able to get into the engineering aspect of things and start to create stuff that we could not do or would have taken
different composites,
a
different
lot.
materials,
Yeah, like making different materials, and then with that, we can make tools to research more of the earth that we have. You know, like we've only discovered 5% of the ocean. Why?
Right? How?
You know what I'm saying? So maybe it's because I don't know any marine biologists or whatever the issues are, but I would presume that there are some issues with the water pressure.
Yeah.
Right? We haven't found anything that can take the water pressure, so we can only go so deep.
Yeah.
Right.
So you bring AI in equation, they figure it out, blah, 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 and now we've explored
everything.
90% of the earth, and now we've got a lot more elements. You know, like just a wild fantasy. But I feel like that's going to bring in, like B said, the era of people really liking AI and how awesome it is, and if they can do this, they can do that. We're an artificial intelligent president.
Yeah. Well, I think also
Shoot, it'll be this one.
I think also like on the twos point, I think the most interesting thing will be how people react to it. So like he was saying, there's gonna be people that are so on board, they're like, I'm AI. Like they're gonna be like, people are already doing like the what do they call it, kin. People act like they're wolves or whatever nowadays. Have you heard of that?
Damn, no.
It's like called wolfkin or something like that.
Oh,
it's like a sub.
What?
It's like a sub of furries. And they're called like kin, and like they refer their pronouns or whatever.
Oh, stop! They have pronouns. They have pronouns.
We need to stop it with this.
It's some type of like it's all related to wolves, but I think it's gonna be the same thing when it comes to AI. People are just gonna be like, "F this world."
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, man.
I just hope they don't take revenge on how we've been treating robots and stuff.
Oh man.
You talk about our slavery.
Well, AI would have no feelings. It has no.
Yeah,
It
they
would
have
have
no
no.
feelings.
It would have no.
You presume that?
Revenge. Well, I guess unless you code
Someone
it
would
in.
have
Unless you
to-
code
yeah.
it in.
No, but they could code it themselves. Now, like when you talk about real artificial intelligence,
That's
Right. They'd be like,
true.
I want to feel something.
yeah, they could.
Because you
I don't know what this
have
feels like.
robots. I was listening to some podcast, and this guy made a robot of his wife. And I don't know why I don't know. But anyways, that robot eventually picked up on her mannerisms and her feelings and her tone and everything.
This
like
is real
that.
life or a show?
This is real life. I'll
What?
I'll bring it back to you guys later. I got to figure it out why he made it. I really don't know why.
Because he could.
But
Right,
yeah, because
that's
he could, and
usually
like
the thing.
they started,
Because it could.
That's all it takes.
they started interviewing the robot, and she was talking and recalling memories and
damn.
what they did yesterday,
That's
and
wild.
Okay.
I get mad when he does this. It's
Right.
like, oh, this
So
is
bridge
weird.
that with what we talked about an episode or two ago with the brain mesh thing. People
Oh,
want
yeah,
to
yeah.
upload their consciousness.
Yeah, Neuralink.
There's
yeah.
actually Neuralink. There's actually a company that is trying to get people to volunteer to
Oh, the other one. Yeah,
upload
yeah.
their brain
No, thank you.
consciousness. So
No.
if someone uploads their brain consciousness, and this works, let's say, and then you download it into this robot.
Then you have feelings and memories and
So
spitefulness.
what's the point? Okay, and at that point, let me just go kind of superficial. One of the areas I think that's going to change totally is going to be dating. You
Yeah.
literally could create somebody.
Oh, yeah.
What's the point? You can create
There
a
is
kid.
no point. There is no point.
Like, why would we need each other?
Why? Why would you want a flawed human being when
Right,
I
you
can
can create a perfect one.
I get a perfect copy
And a
of what I want?
perfectly flawed one.
For
You know what I
me.
mean? Like nobody
For
wants
your-
someone
yeah.
perfect. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
But it's your
Perfectly
flaws that you
flawed
tweaked.
one.
Like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
your.
that you know how to deal with.
See, but then my question, like when you get to that point of like creation of everything, and then it's like, at what point do you become a god? Because if you're creating something
Yeah, that's too far.
under the sense of like what we know as God, you are creating a human, like not a human being, but a being
Yeah.
in this world. That's
I think that's
At
where
certain
God
points-
complex comes in. People
certain-
think that they are like a god.
Right.
There's a
because
lot
they
of things you
create.
can control now, even with
It's all an
fertility,
illusion.
fertility and stuff, and fertility insemination.
you got CRISPR CRISPR now. You can control like
You
when you
can-
get like the genes and all that. And
You
DNA
can do that.
and-
You can
You can do
say
what?
I have got 3 eggs of 3 girl eggs and 2 boy eggs.
They can make you-
I want a girl.
They can make your boy 6 feet, brown hair, blue eyes if you
Like,
How
want.
much
right
is
I
that
don't-
now?
now. You have to have millions.
Money.
Yeah, it's
Money.
yeah, it's bread right now.
But I wouldn't want to do that. Like that gets. I think that's a little bit too far. There are AI.
Well, some people can make sure that their kids don't inherit their.
certain
That's, see, that's
genes.
where it's
Certain
good. Yeah, they
genes.
can remove.
Yeah, I
that's
would
where it's
wanna do
really good.
kinda do
Right,
that,
harmful
yeah.
to them, but
Right.
I wouldn't want to like tweak everything, you know, like just as long as it's a healthy baby, that's what I want. So don't inherit the bad
So
genes.
Sam, how long? Okay, if you can literally have some like, it would be a fake AI person.
Mm-hmm.
It would be the perfect man. Not saying like
Yes, I'm
disregarding
sure.
your current situation.
Oh.
But I'm just saying like in general before, if you could have the perfect man, you would be no distinction between a real human and an AI.
Would you do it?
Yes.
I don't know if I could do that.
Perfect. I mean,
Nah,
there's no
she would.
distinguish.
She would.
Distinguish.
I think all people, most
Yeah.
people would.
Like you wouldn't the same as I am right now. There's no difference.
Definitely,
I
most
know.
women would.
I think so too.
I mean,
yes.
It would
if
be
got
hot
to,
for women.
Here's the thing: if it got to a point where I needed that, like where it's like, all right, sign me up, but I would really just like kind of how I feel with online dating. I'm
It's
not
the same
against
thing.
it
Yeah,
for
yeah.
for other people. Like, let me swipe for you, and I know people love to say, oh, people in relationships want to say, let me swipe for you or whatever. However,
I've never heard that.
Oh, I've heard. No, I have a
never
lot
heard
of
that.
girlfriends that are just like, it's always people in relationships that want to say, "Let me swipe for you. It's gonna be so much fun." I'm like, well, it is. I can't swipe for myself, so why not? Anyways, I think it's just something where I am mentally not there. Like if I become single in the future, I don't know. Maybe I would try out online dating. Now, if we're getting to the point of, oh, do I want the perfectly imperfect man that I can choose myself?
Everything.
If I got to that level, and I don't want to say it's desperation or anything, but it kind of to me is. Then I
what the
guess
heck
so.
happened there?
It's not recording.
I just looked at it not too long ago, so we couldn't have missed that much.
We're still recording on here.
Okay, push
Yeah,
recording.
Yeah, we're good. Either way.
Oh, was it memory?
An error recording and stuff.
Let me see. Well, I think we're supposed to. Well, I have an instant computer, so we're good.
You know,
We just want to have an SD.
Oh, that's fine. Let's just ignore the
Yeah,
SD
it'll
then.
be okay. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
we'll still be good.
yeah, I couldn't.
You couldn't though, huh?
I don't think I could. Right now, if I'm single and I'm 45 and single and lonely,
Sam,
Okay.
like all of that, sure.
what about you two?
Do I want to make the perfect? If I could,
Like if you could, yeah.
yeah.
Really good. Yeah.
Dang.
Do I want to answer honestly?
I mean, yeah.
Dang.
Think about that. Think about what
Like
you.
if this
yeah.
became a thing that was, it wasn't like buying a Ferrari. Like it was affordable, right? And you
Right.
can literally ready-made partner.
Yeah.
I feel like most people would do
So
it.
you guys,
yeah.
It would be like
you.
four
yeah.
out of no, 2 out of every 4 couples is.
I think more
within
than that.
Yeah.
I think it'd
AI
be
or
more than
something. 3
that.
out of
I think
4 or
more than that
something.
too.
I think it'd be like 98%.
Yeah.
Like it would be
I
a
think so too.
small. I think it'd be such a small percentage that don't.
Because it depends
Like
on how
y'all
it
would be like the
functions.
hipsters. You and Lisa would be the hipsters.
I only do organics. Only organics.
Wait. So question. These AI boyfriend, girlfriends, whatever, they're just like
Regular
regular.
people.
No, there's no difference
So
in
then,
us.
You
do
can't
they-
really tell.
So then, do they cheat? So if
Ooh.
me, Samantha, didn't want,
Not if
it's
you
like I
program
give,
them.
like,
see,
hey,
yeah.
guess what? I give up. I want an AI, and I want your man.
That's a programmable desire or needs that you can adjust.
I feel
and
like
remove.
it would come like you would have to go through a consultation process, right? So there's a game that actually kind of does this stuff a little bit. It's called Detroit. I don't know if you guys ever played it. It's
I've heard of it. Yeah,
insane.
yeah.
It's super dope.
That's like on PS3, right?
4.
Oh, it's
PS4.
a new one. Oh, okay.
Anyways, not about the game, but it kind of goes into all this kind of stuff. But it would be like a consultation process. They sit down, they see who you are. It's almost like they create your dating profile, and then they create your partner for you. And in creating that partner, your partner, I think what you'll find is people don't want a perfect person.
Right.
So you have to create certain flaws or certain things that can simulate someone who's having some sort of dysfunction or whatever. But I think most people don't want to be cheated on, so
Right.
that won't be a factor. So if you have the perfect partner,
But
they might annoy you sometimes, or they might argue with you because that's a natural part of your relationship. But I don't think they cheat. And you literally have. This is what I said earlier. I was like, I think it would be really big for women. Not it would be guys. Guys would be more superficial and physical.
Yeah,
Like everybody would have Beyonce's walking around with them. Like, they don't care what the other stuff is. Like, don't get on my nerves. Let me do what I want and look bomb. That's it. There'll be a bunch of Barbies walking around.
Yeah,
but with women, because you have a lot of successful women, especially you have successful black women who are having problems finding other successful maybe black men and all the stuff, all that stuff. So I think it's gonna turn out like online dating. Not too long ago, online dating was like the thing to do when you're desperate.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't that long ago where people were like, "You're online," and it's slowly that kind of like
you're not
normal.
you're not.
Yeah.
Now it's
Now it's like you're not.
Yeah, like you don't
How
have a
did you
profile.
guys actually meet?
And I think that'll be the same thing with AI relationships. Like at first they're gonna be like the weirdos. Ugh, you're messing with a robot. And then people are gonna kind of start, and then someone famous is gonna do it, and then there's gonna be like a famous couple who actually raised kids and like all that stuff, and then people are gonna be open to it a little bit more.
True.
And then next thing you know,
I'll catch
everybody's
the
with
wave.
one.
I'll catch the wave
Yeah.
when it's more
Now,
normal.
Here's the thing that's kind of screwed up. I was just thinking as you was talking about that. If you're programming a robot, you'd also have to, minus any tragedies, you'd also have to program their death.
Why? Why would you program their death?
Right.
They're just gonna outlive you.
Just
And then
forever?
move on. Yeah. Wait, but think about it. That's a big selling point. Like I never have to deal with loss with you.
But there has to be some type of
What about
end.
car accidents and stuff? Like
No, the
needs it.
replacement parts. Real talk. Like if something happens, they can be replaced.
See, that's the only part that
Funerals
gets
and
me.
all that stuff
The
is
forever,
like-
they're forever part.
so then
forever.
what are we can procreate?
You
Ooh,
can
that's a-
recreate.
if it has human organs.
You can
Could-
recreate. Nah, I don't think.
Not
nah,
like
we ain't doing
That's
that.
a little
I
It
don't
wouldn't
think
be-
that.
Yeah, I was saying, yeah, I don't
It
know
wouldn't
too
be-
far. They're just there for your amusement.
But it wouldn't be a human that you would have. You
No,
would just
yeah.
recreate an AI.
That's the point. We're not
So-
saying you're being with another human. It's
So
gonna be
I would
like
be
one.
the only person that dies in my family.
Yeah, maybe. And
That's
if
so
you have robot
sad.
kids too,
That's so sad.
because I mean,
Damn.
you could get artificially inseminated, and you guys could raise
for
that
sure.
real baby.
That makes
But
just like
I
human
wouldn't
organs.
have. I would give birth to an AI baby.
No, Sam. You give
You said
birth to a
artifi-
real baby.
Oh.
But
You
you
have
like
a-
we
like
said
a
before,
donor?
you can.
Like you have a
yeah,
donor?
yeah.
Yeah.
It would take his likeness, put it into real DNA, and then put it into you
Oh my
via
gosh.
IVF, and then
There you go.
you'd have a real human, but it would look like your counterpart.
Yeah.
That's just gonna happen, cuz.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm thinking about
crazy.
my future Annihilated and my second Annihilated.
Right.
And your second
Yeah.
scenario.
Okay, but
no.
Okay, I feel like there will be a clause too. Celebrities will have to have like.
To their likeness.
Yeah,
Oh,
you can't
yeah,
create
yeah,
someone
yeah,
on someone
yeah.
else's
Yeah,
likeness
yeah,
because then that's like cloning, and then
Yeah,
who
I agree
knows?
with that.
Yeah.
So it'll have to be a complete, unique identity
Yes, I agree.
per.
Yeah. There's so many particulars that the fine
So
print.
But you could get pretty close. Like if you like, I can't have Beyonce, but I can have Leon.
I was just thinking, I was thinking there's gonna be a lot of like 06 Beyonce's.
for real. Man.
Damn, that would be weird. Damn, yeah.
Then it will look like a perfect society. That's weird.
Yeah.
You think people have beauty standard issues now?
Oh my god.
Ooh.
But it'll be.
Yeah,
I
But it
feel
won't
like-
matter. It won't matter.
Why is that?
Like if you are the ugliest person in this world and you're able to create your, what do you call it? That person is gonna desire and less for you. So you're not. I don't know if you still would feel. Well, maybe you would. I don't know. If you would still feel inadequate if you're able to get someone that's.
That's actually a decent point. Like, you wouldn't really care.
Yeah, because you have
Because
everything.
you're like,
else,
I'm
yeah.
just gonna make my mate anyway.
You're not
so now
missing
you're
out.
not going through life going, am I gonna be alone?
I'm not. Yeah.
I'm gonna just
I
make it
got
one at a time.
Yeah.
I need to save up maybe. You know what I mean?
Because the point of looking good is like you get what you get for being good looking. So if you still get that same thing, it's like F it.
I would change
Who
the
cares?
dynamics of everything.
Everything.
What would clubs look like?
Dudes would be fat as shit. Like you know, what I mean? we do most of our stuff for
Unhealthy.
women. Yeah, everything we do is
Oh,
like
that's
to look good for
true.
women. So once that happens, men are be like,
I think
I'm
health
shit.
is gonna go down.
Oh yeah, even worse. Even
Real
worse,
people's
yeah,
health
yeah.
is gonna go
Yeah,
way down.
because for what?
For what?
You don't have anyone to impress. I'm not trying to look good for girls anymore. Like, well, fuck it.
Wow.
I got my Sanaa and she likes me when I'm fat. So
Some people will program their AI to make fun of them when they start getting
yeah,
weight.
for sure. Yeah,
Oh yeah, to keep you
yeah.
motivated.
Dang. This is where we're at in the future, I'm telling you.
Right. We just went there.
This is future present talk.
Damn.
Man. But one of the kind of changing gears and switching topics a little bit though. one thing I wanted to ask you, Sam, being a owner of a podcast yourself, is I kind of wanted to talk to you about the journey that you've been through, because you're actually one of the people that at least inspired me
For sure.
to start doing this whole thing in general.
That's nice.
So
That's really nice.
yeah, it's true.
I appreciate
You
that.
know, and I just kind of want to know how it's going and how you feel, because I feel like obviously a lot of people are doing podcasts right now. Right? Like lots. There's so many podcasts that you can listen to, and it's actually becoming a thing where people are listening more also.
Yeah.
But I feel like since 22 episodes in, you start to realize like this stuff, like it takes consistency.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean? Like there's
work.
tons of people that are starting podcasts, but not a lot of people are finishing them.
Finishing, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't know. I was wondering what you could add to that. Speak on that.
Yeah, I mean,
Like how you guys got started.
we
maybe.
started, so Feisty and I met because of my sister. She was friends with her. I met her through her. Feisty had a radio show. I was working at Power 106 at the time. I had a radio show at Chafee. And we'd always kind of like, oh, you do radio? Yeah, I do radio. We should do something, like collectively, like come together. And then she brought the idea, like, what about a podcast? And I was like, yeah, because I listen to podcasts all the time.
Right.
I mean, all the time. Once I stopped working at the radio station, I promise you, I haven't listened to the radio since. Like, I'll listen to my music that I have that I download, but podcasts always. So when we got into it, we were just kind of like talking about like, okay, what would it be, and what are our interests, and what can we bring to the table? So yeah, that's what we bring, is just our opinions on relationship stuff, women point of view. Her and I, as you guys know, are very different from each other.
Polar opposite.
So it makes it fun conversation. And then there's plenty of things that we do agree on.
Shout out Feisty.
Shout out to Feisty Pisces. So pretty much, yeah, the consistency part, like, listen, we both have full-time jobs and lives outside of work. And this is like, it's like your baby, right? And you care so much about it. But then it's like, I'm not getting paid. And, you know, we live far. I'm in LA. She's in the IE. So it's kind of like, okay, scheduling.
Same.
Trying to work with schedules, coming up with ideas and topics and keeping it like fun.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. It's always fun when you're recording. This part is the fun part.
Yeah.
It's always fun,
For sure,
right?
yeah.
And then when you listen, you're like, that was a good one. This was a good joke. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. But then it's like, okay, no, we got to do it all again for next week and the next week. And you want to build that. So I think that's the biggest issue, or that's the biggest hurdle, I feel like, is schedule, staying consistent. You know, we bought everything, just like you guys, you know, you slowly build and add to make things cooler and stuff. But the scheduling is the hardest, and keeping that consistent energy to bring, like, remind each other, like, no, we both want this, we both like it, so we both need to do it. It just gets, you know. I
think the kind of going on what you're saying, the important thing is when you're doing a podcast, you know, it looks all fun to do, and it is a lot of fun to do, but in order for it to sustain, I think you have to be building towards something.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what you said. Like, it's like that non-fun part.
Right.
You got to market. You got to do all that stuff, because if it's not growing,
right,
it might be fun to do, but if you're sacrificing things, you know what I mean?
In order to do
in order to do it, eventually it's going to taper out.
Right.
And I think a lot of people that we know that either do podcasts and that fall off or they taper out, it's usually that thing. Not getting paid, you know, not really catching on. They do it for a long time. And
we do seasons, like we did, if you want to look at it kind of like semesters, like school year. We started in July, we ended our first season in November. And then like we had a little break, and then we came back in February.
Is that how a lot of podcasts do it, or is that kind of unique to you guys?
I don't know how it works for everyone else. Like, I have my favorite podcasts, like The Reads specifically. I listen to them faithfully every Thursday.
Yeah.
They don't do breaks.
Right, it's week after week
after week. Maybe they'll take like 2 weeks off, but and they'll do like a replay, or they'll do like a new show, but like the best of 2018. But it's never like this long break. So for us, it's like, okay, we'll take a break. And then when we came back, it was February to June. And we've been off since June, and I'm kind of like, ready to go. But I think we both took that break and we were like burnt out, like personally. And it's just kind of like, listen, I'm done with this. So let's just take a minute and then we'll come back.
Right.
And then so now that like me personally, I'm like, oh, I'm ready to go. Let's go. And she's like, I'm not ready to go yet. So it's like respect. Okay. We'll take our time and maybe we'll be back for the new year. Maybe we'll be back a little
I think we should get a weekly Champagne Sammy Entertainment Corner podcast.
Yeah, I was thinking of this just to float and to keep myself going, like doing a Sammy Says segment or
that would
something.
be really good.
I'd be down.
You guys want to come in on my Sammy Says?
Yeah, that'd be good.
So, I mean, yeah, that's something to do just because I like our dynamic. I like what we do together. Right. And then, I still get this urge. Like, I listen to your guys' podcast. I'm so proud of you guys. I can't stress that enough because...
Thanks, guys.
That's what I'm talking about, cuz!
Yeah. So, it's just like, hearing you guys, it's like, okay, I got to get back in it. I gotta do it because...
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we used to do... You guys, it's always been... like creative stuff, like since I don't know.
Always.
Yeah, always.
Forever.
Me and T.
Me joining in on your guys' projects, it's fun. You guys, it's fun. So it's like, yeah, okay. Let's do it. Let's do something.
Speaking of the read, it's kind of dope to see the trend of a lot of podcasters going into like their own TV shows and spaces.
They're about to
saying,
start
how can
their
we
own
do that?
show.
Yeah, they're having a show come
that.
out next week, I believe.
Yeah.
Who is?
The Read. It's two people that they're really big podcasts. They're cool. But
Very
yeah, they're
cool.
good.
Kid Fury and
Do you know what
Crystal.
station? Are they on the network? Or are they? Do you know what?
I don't know. I thought it was like iTunes.
Oh, God. Oh, okay.
Maybe.
So yeah.
I don't know.
But opening doors though. You know what I'm saying?
Heck yeah. And I mean, like, Two Dope Queens. Now,
That's right, HBO.
not to shade them or anything. I wasn't a fan of Two Dope Queens at all.
That's right.
But they got their foot in the door and they had their podcast on HBO.
That's dope.
Like,
super
and it's two black girls. Like, that to me is like goals.
Trying to get the Bramigos out there or something.
feel me?
Right.
I'm trying to get on
Showtime
Stars
has
or something.
Right. So I
Say.
think that kind of stuff is really cool.
Stars.
Stars.
We're shooting high. We're shooting high.
FX, I don't care, man.
I'll
take some.
any
We'll be on
network.
Oxygen, cuz.
Right, I'll take Oxygen.
Oh yeah,
Put me on.
I would, yeah, hell yeah.
CW, what's up?
I'll be good with the Upland channel. Hey guys, Champagne Sammy from Upland.
What they call that basic cable channel for
Yes.
your community or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
The PBS. What? I don't even know, but my dad loves that channel. Like,
The community channel or something like that.
Yes,
Do they still
no.
have those?
Access
Yes.
Network.
The Access-
public access network.
Yeah.
my
Yes.
dad still watches and
They have
he's
some
like,
crazy shows on
They
there.
have some funny
they
stuff.
People
do.
be creating some crazy stuff. That's where like Tom Green's show came from. He used to do that on his local. What do you call it?
Yeah. There's this one
Maybe we
guy
need
that
to do
like,
the Bramigos on there.
yeah, I forgot. This guy died maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, and he did all of this stuff, but they still keep replaying. And my dad's like, "Watch this one." I'm like, "This man is like," and it's
access.
like public access. It's not like
random,
anything, and
yeah.
he just goes to different places in California. And my dad is just like, "Whoa, this is really neat."
That's our next move. We need a public access channel.
Yeah, put me on the free
Episode.
stuff. I don't care.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. Man, we need to we could do that. We could travel. Bramigos touring.
Yeah, we're making us the road.
Going
For sure,
around.
for
We're
sure.
going around the world.
Yeah,
That'd be, yeah,
That'd be dope.
with
Yeah, we
a
had some good
special
experiences.
Sammy Says segment.
Right,
need
man. I'm in. Man, I want to go to Africa. I have not been to Africa yet.
Africa's.
I've traveled to a few places. I've been traveling since I was younger. But traveling when you're younger is a lot different.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
want to travel more as an adult. And then I want to do, like we said, like experience different cultures and things like that. Most of the time when I travel, it's like you go to tourist trap areas, the
Yeah, yeah.
shops and blah,
Right.
blah, blah. And I'm so over that. That's like, it's played now, but
Now, sorry to cut you off. Traveling as an adult now, are you wanting to travel with Dax included, or do you want to do just like you and Lisa?
I mean, I want to do both. I'm a person that I want to take my family with me because I think it's super dope to start Dax traveling young. I think that opens up their eyes. It does a lot of dope stuff. So on that front, yeah. But I definitely want to do some trips where it's just me and
guys,
Lisa or
yeah.
whatever.
Adults.
But if
I
I
was
get this
wondering
bag,
about
I could take my whole family.
Right.
Shoot.
I always think about that when you see like little kids traveling. Like there's a mom blog. She travels everywhere in the world. Like you see her in Egypt on the camel, and she has her little boy everywhere. That's everywhere. Crazy. And she's getting paid to do that. And he just started, I want to say, not kindergarten, but preschool.
That's the time to do
and
it.
And so she's like, my little travel, it now just kind of stopped. But then I was thinking, like, it's cool to expose them at an early age, but how much are you going to remember when you're 4?
That's true.
But not even... Well, the thing is, there's so many things that'll probably seep in subconsciously to the kids.
True.
It's not necessarily just what they're gonna remember. Plus, you got pictures and stuff, and they can say they done it, and But there's gonna be a lot of things subconsciously that kids absorb and soak in that they might not even know that they got from
visiting all these places.
I learned. I think myself and my parents, we learned a lot about me when I was younger from traveling. So I used to act and do all the stuff or whatever, right? And I was on set for some show, Still Standing, I think it was. And long story short, my family was going on a cruise, and I had to shoot the same day. So we worked out something to where the studio would fly me out, and I would board the cruise that my family's already on.
Whoa.
Well, what happened, I was like maybe 10 years old or something like that. I know, right? So I hop on this plane. I land in some small rural like airport where chickens are around. It's like dirt roads and stuff too. So I land there, but I'm supposed to get on this thing. They're like, wait at the airport. Someone's going to come and get you. Well, I waited. Nobody came to get me. Like, no one. And I just remember thinking at a young age, like, I'm about to be stuck at this airport with these chickens running around. Like, I don't want to be here. Yeah. So it's funny when I think back about it, but this kind of says, like, who I was as a kid.
True.
I was like, okay, I need to do something. So I remember going out, trying to hail a taxi. And I got in a taxi. This is a true story. I got into a taxi. He drove. I was like, do you know where the cruise and the boats are? He's like, oh, yeah. And I had some little cash or whatever. So I was okay, gave him some cash. Totally dangerous for a little kid to do this. But, it worked out well.
Of course.
And I think they did ask, like, where are your parents? I'm like, oh, they're on a cruise. I need to meet them there, whatever. And luckily, I was with a good person. So the person was like, okay, I'll take you to where the ships are. And so I get there, and there's this ridiculously long line. And I know that they were saying my boat's supposed to leave at a certain time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I remember looking at the line going, dang, I got to get in the back of that line. And I remember going like, nah, I don't want to do that. Like, so I rolled all the way up to the front of the line. It was like, hey, I need to get on a boat. And I'm pretty sure they said it's Carnival. And I think it's that one right there. And it was pulling out.
Oh, no.
It was pulling out. And they're like, oh, so they look at the manifest and all that stuff. And they found my name and all that stuff. They had to ferry me because the boat was leaving already. They had to ferry me onto the boat. And when I got onto the ship, like I docked mid-ocean or whatever they call that, I got on, and I just remember thinking the whole time, like, y'all was about to leave me. Like, everyone was about to leave me. And I was walking through, I didn't know where to go, I didn't know who. Like, I just walked in. I remember walking into the casino and running into my cousin, and everybody like, oh, hey, what's up? And just, like, kept it pushing. And I'm like,
like, who?
Are y'all serious?
Like, did someone get fired because they didn't pick you up?
Everybody was on... Someone thought someone else was doing something.
Yeah.
Dang.
Everybody thought someone else was doing something.
And this is before cell phones.
Man, no,
Home Alone moment.
That old.
Like, real Home Alone.
This is your Home Alone,
Yeah, it really was. And it was
Gosh.
crazy because when I told my mom, I'm like, y'all are supposed to get me there. Like, oh, they said they're sending somebody to get you. I was like, no, I was stuck at the airport. And they're like, well, how'd you get here? I was like, I got a taxi. They're like, what? And so it's like this crazy whole thing. And it's like one of the funniest stories that we tell is because, like, I was like 10 years old and really took charge and was like, man, get me out of here.
My God.
That's probably like my earliest like traveling memory. Like I almost got stuck. I want to say this was somewhere like, I don't know if it was like Bahamas.
Wasn't it Aruba that it happened?
I don't know if it was Aruba. It might have been. I can't remember. Because I think Aruba, I actually went to Aruba. This was a place I was going on to get on a cruise. But this was like one of their stops. So I was like day into the cruise kind of. I don't remember, but yeah, I went to a lot of places like Aruba, Bahamas, all that kind of stuff. But like I said, we did all the tourist little stuff, parasailing and all that. But even that was dope to do as a kid. Yeah, and I really do think people should travel with their kids.
Oh, for sure.
Real talk. Yeah. Because kids have a lot of fun.
I go back and forth with that. I'm like, dang, do I have to pay for all this extra stuff?
See, that's the thing. Yeah, it's extra.
We went on this cruise with my family, and I did not travel as a kid, like at all. I think maybe we went to Key West for my cousin's wedding when I was 10 because I was a flower girl, and we went to Alabama when I was 19, and then New Orleans when I was 20.
So all in-state.
All in-state stuff, nothing international together. So that was why, you know, we went on this family trip and we said no significant others because all the kids have significant others. But
Just family.
never again will that happen. You know, just because it was a lot.
Oh man.
But it was a good time all in all. However, my sister and I were just sitting there like, dang, it costs a lot of money for us just to go, and then you have to
Right.
think about like someone else who can't pay for themselves.
Yeah, bread.
All right.
That was ultimately the thing
Right.
of just like, dang, would you just put them in daycare for the day? Because like you
Yeah.
don't want to bring a little kid around to these
It
museums.
definitely takes some saving sometimes.
Clearly,
People-
we're not
Yeah.
we're not parents yet, so we still have this like selfish mentality of just like, but why would
But
we
it is
do
good.
that?
It is good to travel by yourself first, because it'd be good to do that by yourself and
Yeah.
then bring them back.
Yeah.
And it's a
Yeah.
totally different experience. It's almost the same thing as going somewhere by yourself and then going with your spouse or whatever.
Right.
It's like a totally different experience. So, yeah, I think it's a really good idea. What would you say is your big takeaway from traveling abroad, getting out of the States, going somewhere? Like, what do you guys experience?
Mine is just that like 7 billion seconds of life is happening every second.
Bro, what does that even mean?
There's
I
7.
get that. I get
So
that.
like right now you're experiencing your second life. He's experiencing his second life, and,
Yeah.
and I am.
Right.
But when you're here, I just feel like it's just me or just people around me. But then when you go somewhere else, you're like, oh, niggas been living forever. And
Like
it's
this?
Like,
Oh,
but there's
okay,
7
okay.
people, 7
Yeah.
billion different lives happening every second. Like every,
Yeah.
so you feel like, oh damn, like, well, it makes you feel smaller too. But it's just like makes you realize like, oh shit, things are happening everywhere all the time, no matter
Yeah.
what, whether you see it or not, whether it's on TV. Like life is happening, and so that stuff for me is just like humbling.
When you see that, yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
like you just like, oh shit, life is really whether I'm here or not, things are gonna continue to happen.
I do that sometimes when I see people, just randomly. I'll be like, that dude has a whole
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Oh, I
all
do
I'm
that all the
seeing, and I'm like,
time. I do that
he has an
all the
identity.
time. Yeah.
He has a whole thing, and his path just crossed mine. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
And it's all the
crazy.
thing is like
Second.
it's
Yeah.
all happening at the same time as
All at
your
the same
life.
time.
Like
Yeah.
everything is like that's what's crazy. Just
I'm
to
like,
see
what
it.
happened in that
That's super
person's life
trippy.
that caused us to even just walk by each
Right,
other?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's crazy.
I had those thoughts too.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what about you, Sam? Traveling
That for sure. And
7.8 billion seconds.
yeah, because I
I've
think ever
never
since
thought
I was
that.
a little kid, I really thought like there's someone, even domestically, like there's someone in Kansas
Oh,
that's
God.
my
Yeah.
age looking at the stars right now. Too.
You got that from Disney movies.
probably my little dramatic self, but
Right.
but yeah, so there's that takeaway, and then also just being able to see the things that we live in Hollywood. I live closer to Hollywood, and you see the fake, the phony, and all of that of like movie sets and Las Vegas. You see Paris and the Trevi Fountain and everything, and then actually going there, it's like, oh shoot,
Right.
this is a real. Check it off. Especially like if you ever get to see or experience the 7 great wonders
Oh, yeah.
of the world. We didn't get to. I don't
You guys know all 7? What are all 7 of them?
know.
I don't know. All 7. Is the pyramids one of them?
Pyramid.
Pyramids are
Yeah.
one.
What is all headstone?
Itchy.
Wait,
It's in
Stonehenge.
Tulum.
Stonehenge. Stone
Stonehenge
Oh,
is
Stonehenge.
one.
is one of
Yeah.
them, right? Is Big Ben one of them? I don't know.
No.
Isn't the
No,
Great
that's
Wall? Is the
Great Wall of China.
one?
Great Wall of China.
Then there's one in South America, like the
The Alamo.
ruins.
No,
The
I'm
Alamo.
kidding.
The Alamo.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I gotta look. Yeah.
I only know those
The
3.
Mayan ruins in
The Mayan ruins
Tulum.
one?
Mm-hmm.
That's 4.
That's one of them.
We got 4.
Taj Mahal.
It's like each month.
Taj Mahal?
It's
It's 5. Come on, 2, help.
Yeah, I don't know none of these.
just like,
You need to travel, bro.
I don't know any of these.
Yeah, but
Is there
that's
anything
my-
in Canada?
No.
What's that tall one? Space Needle? That's not a wonder. Wait, doesn't Dubai's tallest building count as one? No. I
Burj
know.
Khalifa?
I know. That doesn't count.
I don't think so. They've come up with more lists too.
They added it. They have a modern day one.
They have a modern one.
Great Pyramids, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon,
We missed that one.
Didn't know that.
Temple Artemis.
We missed that
Oh wait,
one.
hold on. This is ancient world. My bad.
See, there's so
7
many different
great
lists.
wonders
so
of the world.
They change it. Oh yeah. So yeah. Okay. Here we go. The Great Wall of China.
Yes.
Cool.
The
Got it.
Rio Grande. They got the what do you call the priests?
We missed that.
Machu Picchu,
We missed that.
Mayan ruins,
We got that.
Colosseum,
Oh, I went there then.
Taj Mahal,
What?
Taj Mahal,
I went to the Coliseum.
and then Petra in Jordan,
Oh, Jordan.
where they had a cave that's carved out. It's crazy.
Isn't that where Jesus spoke or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Jesus
I haven't
Christ
been there.
himself. JC.
JC, what up,
guys?
baby?
What up, guys? JC got.
To this day.
Nope, wrong one. Why did I ever get these right? Is this one, huh?
Free smoke, free smoke. Hey.
There we go. That's the great one.
Yeah,
JC, what it do,
Well,
baby? That's crazy,
What are
man.
yours?
Oh yeah, two didn't answer his.
I think my takeaway from traveling is it's like a combination of what B and Sam said, but also it kind of when I traveled abroad, I also realized how similar we are as like a human
Yeah, for
species
sure.
or whatever.
Yeah.
I remember I went somewhere, I forgot, I was like high school probably or whatever, and I was like on a cruise or something like that. We were on this island and I got like my money stolen or something. I got my wallet taken. But I didn't have I still had my ID and all that stuff.
Gotcha.
But then I just had this like sobering thought of just like, oh, they still out here too. Like it just made me realize, oh, okay, like even though like I fantasize about these different Caribbean islands or whatever, and I think that they're so spectacular and cool. Just like we're still dealing with the same bullshit, still like have the same needs, the same
those
whatever.
petty
So
bits.
it's like
The human condition. It's all around the world. That's crazy, man. That's dope. Yeah, I mean, definitely want to promote everybody. Get your passport, man. Get your passport. Get out there and travel.
Get some stamps.
Get some stamps.
Yeah.
They don't really stamp anymore.
I know.
didn't get stamps.
I've never gotten stamped.
Yeah,
And it's really pissing me off.
What?
Yeah, lately they
I've
haven't
never
been
gotten
stamped. I mean, not like I've been traveling international lately, but the last few times I traveled, well, they didn't in Canada. The last couple times I went.
Stamped up, guys.
They didn't stamp me
I
up,
like
man.
Subway
That kind
Harbor.
of hurt my
I
feelings.
got a stamp in Monaco.
Stamp. Stamp.
That was pretty exciting.
Well, dope, man. Sam, thank you
so
for
much.
coming.
Thank you for
best.
having
Really
me.
appreciate it.
I want to come back.
You got to come back.
For
we're,
sure.
we're going to work on a segment so that you can keep.
Sammy says, coming
Sammy
at you.
says.
Well, we do.
Wait,
we
what?
do need more current event, like more entertainment.
What would
Less-
Sammy Says be? If you were to do a Sammy Says right now, what would it be?
It would be, I don't know. That was on the spot. I'm not ready for that. I can't. I
That's
don't
gonna
know.
be. That's gonna be a process. She's about to just go off.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
oh,
yeah,
shit.
she ready.
Right.
She ready.
I wasn't ready. Sorry.
No, okay.
But it'd be fun.
We'll figure
Oh,
it
for
out.
sure, for sure.
I know.
I'd have a jingle.
Oh, you have a jingle?
Sammy says.
That sounds like that Ashley from All That. What was that?
Yeah, it does.
Ashley was like, that's me or whatever.
That's-
Was it Amanda? The
Amanda,
show?
yeah.
Amanda
Amanda
Bynes.
Show. There you go, Amanda.
Ooh, hot mess.
Anyways, thank you for coming. We appreciate you. I don't know
Thank
if you
you.
know how we usually end the show, but Too, do you happen to know what time it is?
It's time for a motherfucking freestyle, y'all.
Time for a motherfucking freestyle, y'all. DJ B. Smitty, hit us with that track.
I'll episode 22 freestyle.
Let's get it.
You know what we do?
Oh,
It's
sorry,
called
sorry.
Vacation.
Hey,
Vacation.
Okay, I got a travel checklist, so I hope you can hear it. First thing, bruh, you don't ever want to fly Spirit. I know it really sound like I'm hating, but straight up Spirit will charge you for a conversation. When you travel in a group, we do a passport check, and I don't want your input if you ain't paid me yet. And the same dude in the chat group bragging about his paper be the same dude that hit you like, can I pay you back later? Bali, if I hit the swing, I'm trying to take a couple pictures for the gram. If it's a visa, I'ma take a couple pictures to the party. Good vibes, lottie-dottie. Everybody drinking Bacardi, yelling at Barty. It's foggy. I'm just glad I came with my folks though. I'm super high and on smoke though. You know, I'm just trying to do what it do. I'm trying to voulez-vous, cool shake, I let go with the crew. When in France, man, you parlez-vous, so pardon you. You ain't seen this many black folks, boo? And all us cool. And we big sipping, and we big tipping. Yeah, we big tipping if they ain't want us to. Hey, I get the drone out, let's turn it up and bone out. We living in the moment while these people got their phones out. Hitting all these white sand beaches and just zone out. Private chef whipping up the itis and we all out. Swimming on the dolphin with the beach in Anguilla. I'm eating some pizza, leaning on the Thai pizza. My brother's keeper. Freedom ain't come free either. You know how many people had to die for me to get this visa? Please, bruh.
Okay,
Hey,
okay,
me
I
too,
see what
me
you did
too,
there.
me
Ace.
too.
Okay, okay.
Vacation.
Yes, this for my bag.
Vacation.
Hey.
Take a ride, let's drive a bit. Sit, lay back and take a sip. We'll travel around the world legit. I just wanna see you happy as shit. Let's go overseas, meet a Brit. From London to Cape Town, no matter the trip. My love for you will never quit, will never die. I prophesy, we multiply.
Hey.
No cap, no lie.
Hey.
Take our babies to Shanghai. Do something different, be mystified. The world is ours, let's get it together. My road dog, forever and ever. No matter the weather, please bring a sweater. It's cold in late November. Just snuggle up, snuggle up. Yeah, yeah. Freestyle, nigga. Freestyle, nigga. I'm about to go off, but I messed up.
Hi, Sam.
Hey, Sam.
All
Hey,
right.
Sam.
Hey.
Hit him, Sam. Hit him, Sam. Hit him, Sam. Hit him, Sam.
Here we go.
Let him know, let him know, let him know.
What up, bruh? It's Champagne Sammy. I'm fresh off the flight with the family. Back in May, took a trip with my bae. Went to Pablo Escobar's mansion, and it was crazy. Don't be fooled, I'm not a baller. I just want to see the world before a son or a daughter. That's all I got.
Bars on bars, baby.
That's all I can do right now.
That's good
Yo,
shit.
that's the
Episode
podcast. Episode 22. Champagne Sammy, thank you for coming one more time.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
We love you.
I
Thank
have
you guys for
more.
listening.
I
If
have
you
more in my
listen-
rap, but I just didn't want to do it. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I don't have a
It's
beat.
all good. What you
I
gave
can
us
never
was
catch
dope.
the beat.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thank you for coming. Thank you for dropping those bars. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you guys did good.
We love you guys. Peace.
See
Free
ya.
smoke, free smoke.
Hey.
To this day. To this day.
That's what I'm talking about, cuz.